gone and bought myself a C-Class Mercedes Benz. So this ain't the usual sort of car that I like to buy. I like an old knackered hot hatch. However, this one come up for 1,500 quid and I thought, yeah. And then I took it for a drive. This thing absolutely flies along. This one comes with a 3-litre V6. So I think it's around 240 horsepower, which ain't too bad at all. So as normal with my cars, I like to buy and sell them, and they always come with faults. So this one's no different. Let's jump in, have a look, and let's see if we can get it sorted, see if we can sell it for a bit of cash. This is how the car turned up. As you can see, the car is actually quite tidy. Bodywork wise, it's really nice. A little neglected in places, like these lights. I think the whole car could benefit from having a good wash, clay bar, and then I'm going to wax and seal it. The alloys are starting to look a little tired. The badges in the centre have worn out, and the nuts have all gone rusty. And lads, you've got to sort your rusty nuts out. This came with 4 good tyres on it, and the brakes are pretty good as well. Lots of life left in the pads. That's going to be good later, because I still need to MOT this car, and I got a feeling that could have cost me a lot of money. On the inside, it's much the same. The car's been well used, but just hasn't been looked after that well. So I'm going to give this a good clean out and hopefully put a bit of life back into these seats. The previous owner used to have a bulldog, so you can see on the plastic trim where he's had his head out the window. I've got a magic eraser, so I'm hoping that gets the grime out of the plastic trim. In the front of the car, we got the panoramic sunroof, we got a sat-nav system, and of course we got the standard missing glove box from the Mercedes C-Class. Now this, I literally opened it and it fell off in my hand, so I'm going to have to work out how to sort that. Here's the reason I bought this car. A massive 3-litre diesel engine. Look at the size of that. Absolutely massive. It's a bit baffling looking at it. Hopefully it's not too hard to work on. But look at the size of that turbo. I'll be able to suck seagulls in with that thing. So we've got 3 main issues with this car. Most of them are coming from the engine bay area. So the number one problem we got, we're losing a lot of diesel. Like you come back in the morning, there'll be diesel all over the floor. So going to get them up in the air and hopefully we can see where the diesel's coming out of. Second issue, we've got engine light on from a knackered glow plug. So I've been putting this job off for a few weeks. I don't really want to do it and snap the glow plug in the head, because then there's going to be, the car's kind of knackered at that point. It's better going for parts. So fingers crossed, I can get that glow plug out without snapping it. It'd be a nice and easy job. Last issue you got is a load of clunking coming from the suspension. So I'll take you out for a spin in the car now, let you hear what it sounds like. I think it's lower arms and top arms, probably drop links as well. Just looking on the forums, it's really common for these cars to have knackered lower arms. So we'll get them changed, see if that solves it, and then hopefully I can make some money on this thing. The car's gone from leaving a small patch of diesel on the floor to an absolute pile of it every time. We definitely need sorting at this point. I've started at the bottom of the car and I'm going to follow the leak back up the engine. Apparently a good way to see the leak is to throw flour on the car or at the engine, and then you'll find where it's wet. But at this point there's so much oil, I ain't got enough flour for that. The plan is to chase the fuel lines back up. Since it's a diesel leak, it's got to be coming from a fuel line, I reckon. So I'm going to follow these hoses all the way up to the top and see where it brings us. Following the leak, it's took me up to the fuel filter. Apparently this is quite a common fault. These clips dig into the rubber and then you get a slight split on them. I had a split on the top and the bottom of the hoses. So I've replaced the hoses and I've put Jubilee clips instead of those daft Mercedes clips. These are the old hoses against the new ones. As you can see where the clip's been digging in there. So the whole tube has gone like really solid. And I guess it's gone a bit brittle just from having diesel in it from over the years. And also it's going hot and then it's going cold, so that's going to make it brittle too. These are the clips. They're alright for the first time you use them, but after a while they just go a bit naff. Whilst I was under the car, I had a good look over the arms. As you can hear, just from shaking them, you can hear a lot of rattling and a lot of play in them. So I reckon that's where my noise is coming from. I don't want to be spending extra time chasing where the knock's coming from. So I'm going to replace both sets of arms, and I'm going to do the drop links as well. Easier just to buy a kit and not chase where the knock is. As long as the bolts are not too seized up, removing these arms isn't too much trouble. You have a nut and bolt on each end of the arms, and then to get them out, you've got to release this shock absorber. So you have 2 bolts which you can see below, and then there's one on the hub at the top. Once you release the one on the top, the hub's going to move a bit, so make sure you secure that nicely. Once the old arms are off, I compared them against the new one, make sure they all fit. Looking at the old arms, you could see on the rubber there was a lot of perishing, a lot of cracks on it, so that's obviously where the noise is coming from. To fit the arms, I've spent maybe an hour and a half, and then I painted up some calipers. It's looking much better under there. What do you reckon? We're on to the last fix, glow plug number 5. To get to the glow plug, I'm going to have to remove this plastic intake here. The top of the glow plug looks a bit like this grey one, but obviously it's under the plastic trim. Before I get started, I'm going to get this engine red hot, and then I'm going to use some penetration fluid so the glow plug comes out a bit easier. Being a V6, the engine cylinders are labelled a bit different than normal engines. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 at the back there. So we want number 5, which is under this pipe, the intake pipe, but you can just about get to it if you move the wires out of the way. With a set of long nose pliers, you should be able to pull that straight off. This connector just needs pulling. There's no clips or anything, just a bit of force to pull it up and it comes right off. I've got myself a deep 8mm socket. Hopefully it doesn't snap. Let's give this a try. What's the worst that could happen? The glow plug actually come out really, really easy. Wasn't even that much force and the thing come right out. So I've refitted the new one now. The light has gone out, so brilliant. I've just managed to do the last repair on this. That was the glow plug. So engine management light was coming up. I couldn't sell the car until that's done. Basically, it was an easy job. Remove the glow plug, refit a new one, clear the code. However, if you've ever done a glow plug, especially on BMWs and things, you can snap the glow plug in the head and then you're in a world of trouble. So I've been dreading this job for absolutely weeks. But it's done. Just putting it all back together now, and hopefully we can polish this thing up and finally get it sold. Some of the mats in this car are starting to look a bit grim, so I'm going to take them out and give them a good wash. I've got a wet vac, but I might even jet wash these. They're that bad and they absolutely stink, so let's get them out of the car. The seats, they're in pretty good condition. They do have a lot of dirt inside them, and also there's dirt marks on the leather, so the closer you get you can kind of see it. So I'm just going to use some soapy water. I'm going to use this eraser, and hopefully that brings the dirt out a bit more. Then I'll use a cloth, take all of that out of the seat. A bit of leather shine on the top, and then work that into the leather with a cloth. These things should look good as new. So here's the finished result. What do you guys think? With the interior now done, I've polished up the outside as well. I listed this car for $2,900, and without even seeing it, someone's left a deposit on it and coming to collect tonight for $2,600. So I've got to now clean this thing in the rain. Whilst I'm out cleaning this car in the rain, looking like an absolute nut job, let's see if we actually made any money then. So I bought this car with its bolts just before it went for a trade-in for 1,550 quid. I paid £25 for a glow plug, £130 for the lower arm kit with the drop links, £25 for some new fueling hose, and £45 for the MOT. The car came back with no advisories, so there was no extra expense on it. With the car all up and running, I reckoned I'd probably get about $2,600 for this car. There's not many cheaper than that on eBay or on Marketplace for the V6 model, so I reckon that was a good sort of figure to get. As I had a good profit margin on this, I changed over the wheel centres for some new caps, and I give it a good service as well, so oil, filters and all that kind of stuff. That come in about 100 quid in total. So yeah, let's get it finished, and then let's get it sold. Matey's coming to collect it tonight for $2,600. with my total spendings at £1,775, I stand to make 850 quid on this car, which I'm quite happy with. I think it was a good gamble in the end. I've actually owned this car now for around 6 months. Drove it to work and back each day, and it's an absolutely fantastic car. It's a V6, so there's bags of power, so it's great up and down the carriageway, and you're getting 47 to the gallon on the way as well. So it's well worth the money. 2.6 for this car. You're getting a lot of car for the money, I reckon. Thanks for watching, guys. With the sale of this one, I've got an extra 800 quid, so I'm going to go back out, buy myself another motor, try and fix it and try and sell it on. If there's been any interest, let me know in the comments, and yeah, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching.